Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and Ting and Ting and Ting. I'm Mr. Gent and I'm back with some more vibe for you. Yes, I. And this one is called Top 10 Things America Stole from Britain. Now, this is going to be interesting, you know what I mean? Because I've been living in America since 1986. So, you're going to get an immigrant perspective of this vibe here. You understand what I'm saying? So, I ain't going to keep you all too long and thing. Let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer and see what was taken from Britain. Let's go. Let's go.
From pastries to patriotic sing-alongs. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 things America stole from Britain.
He likes American stuff.
Before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're counting down famous facets of American culture which actually originated in Britain. While standout British inventions are subject for another list, today's countdown tackles typically American things, which the US has the UK to thank for.
Let's see.
Number 10, apple pie.
What?
As American as apple pie, right? Wrong. The sweet treat is a staple on US dining tables, but the British were the first to serve it way back in the 1300s. A popular dessert throughout European history, with Dutch and Swedish styles also inspiring menus worldwide, it was taken across the pond with the 17th century colonists. Since then, apple pie has become a standout symbol of US patriotism, as well as a central component to a teen comedy franchise.
It's not what it looks like.
Number 9, YMCA.
Yo, check the vibe out this thing, man. Apple pie? Apple pie. You know what I mean? I thought that was completely synonymous with America. Like, I'll admit, I didn't eat an apple pie until I came to America. And I'll be honest, I'm not that much of a fan. The consistency is not my type of vibe. But apple pie? Wow. Apple pie. And I live like what you would call in like America. I live in West Virginia, right around the Appalachian and stuff. People, you know what I mean. And everybody loved the apple pie. Thanksgiving, apple pie. Christmas, apple pie. Apple pie this, apple pie that. You know, which proves the point that not everything is original to a culture. The moving around, you know, the migrations that are happening. And, you know, come to think of it, didn't America used to be like a colony of sorts? So then, of course, certain of the things are going to be taken from there. It would be nice to find out what was taken from, like, the French or the Spanish in this culture. Well, we know Taco Bell and thing come from that Hispanic culture. But let's keep going with this. This is interesting. Apple pie. Wow, apple pie. That's interesting.
Way before village people turned this institution into a cheesy disco anthem, and long before the YMCA swept across America, the Young Men's Christian Association was the brainchild of English philanthropist George Williams. Dismayed by working conditions in 18th century London, Williams conceived the now famous charity as a safe place for its patrons. While the movement's worldwide influence is something to be proud of, difficult to imagine Williams joining in with the dance moves. Number 8, chocolate bars.
I think I'll eat it now.
What, you know? Hold
Candy
on, let's
bars
watch
are
this.
big business stateside. But before Mars, Hershey's, Milky Bar or Baby Ruth, there was one bloke in Bristol making confectionery history. Joseph Fry finalised the first mass-produced chocolate bar in the mid-1800s, around the time that the Dutch developed a chocolate press. Fry's chocolate cream hit shelves in 1866 with a famed fondant filling, and the bar can still be bought today. John Cadbury quickly followed suit, while the likes of Hershey's didn't arrive until the late 1890s. Number 7, sandwich.
Oh, wait a minute, no. But you know that's pretty understandable, because remember the British had the colonies at first, and colonies that produced the chocolate, the ingredients for the chocolate bars and stuff. You know, like the plants and stuff. So it's only natural that would be so. Cool. Let's keep going.
Can I have a glass of wine? Okay. And a ham sandwich. if you like. With a pickle? Alright.
Thanks to world-conquering fast food outlets, Homer Simpson and Joey Tribbiani, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this foodstuff was a US creation. However, the history of the sandwich is long and complicated, and very little of
Wait,
it
was it the
happens in
Earl of
America.
Sandwich?
While early versions are recorded across Europe, it's named after the 4th Earl of Sandwich. In
Yes!
The story goes
I remember
that he was
that.
an ardent gambler, and meat between bread was the simplest way of eating without disrupting a game of cards.
Sandwich for display purposes only.
I remember that story.
Number 6, The Office.
That's what she said.
And yes, we mean the TV show and not the actual open-plan workplace, which is largely a German invention. Anyway, unlike a lot of American remakes of British TV, The Office US did manage to tap into most of what made its predecessor pair. But after 9 series and a shed load of awards, let's just remember where it all started. Steve Carell's Michael Scott is hilarious in his own right, but for fans of the British original, he'll always be David Brent in disguise. Number 5, plastic surgery.
Wow. That came out of me.
From Botox to boob jobs, America is the world's leading market for cosmetic surgery, with millions going under the knife every year. But the industry was by no means born in the USA. Sir Harold Gillies is often credited as the father of plastic surgery, a New Zealand-born, London-based surgeon who gathered leading physicians to treat thousands of soldiers who had been injured or disfigured in World War I. Gillies' work became a blueprint for all sorts of reconstructive procedures, and a starting point for today's aesthetic options. Number 4, the light bulb. A supposedly serial stealer of other people's ideas, Thomas Edison's light bulb moment is considered one of the most significant steps in modern technology.
Hey, Edison, how about sharing some of those light bulbs, huh?
Hey, figure it out for yourself, man!
But experts are continually divided on just how much Edison did to develop the design. Before the Wizard of Menlo Park, there were countless other scientists creating electric light and light bulbs, not least British pioneers including Humphrey Davy and Joseph Swan. The anti-Edison camp claims that the inventor's only skill was knowing when to patent.
One thing Edison did invent, for 100% genuine Edison invention, that we use every day, probably most of us,
Is it nasal hair triggers?
Number 3, donuts.
Fight will hurt you.
I remember this story too. I had a book on this.
Now, the origins of the donut are a sticky affair, with claims and counterclaims sending historians round and round in circles. However, while the strongest suggestion remains that the Dutch took the treats to America in the mid-19th century, a 2013 discovery seemingly proves that the Brits were baking them at least 50 years before. Baroness Elizabeth Dimsdale's cookbook dates to 1800 and includes a strikingly similar recipe. A deep-fried concoction of sugar, eggs, butter and yeast, add some icing, and it's the real deal. Number 2, baseball. A national sport and obsession in the US, baseball was born in the UK. There are countless records of bat and ball games being played in Blighty, starting with stool ball in the 1300s. Sure, the rules have changed and refined over the years, but the basic premise is usually the same. Someone pitches, someone swings, others try to catch. In fact, some researchers argue that baseball is an offshoot of cricket, an English obsession which didn't catch on across the Atlantic at all. Number 1, the Star-Spangled Banner. We finish with a final salute for great British influence on American culture, because the US national anthem is sung to the tune of an 18th century English drinking song. Baltimore wordsmith Francis Scott Key takes full credit for the lyrics, but the melody was written by John Stafford Smith, a Gloucester-born composer. The Anacreontic song, as it was originally known, was regularly belted around a prestigious London gentleman's club, where wealthy people met to wine and dine. Do you agree with our picks?
Wow! Star-Spangled Banner. Taken from music from an old drinking song that the elites did. Now there's going to be all kind of disputes. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments. I want to see what you all think of these choices here and thing. You know what I mean? The one that shocked me the most is apple pie, though. Apple pie shocked a brother there. You know what I mean? Because I thought apple pie was strictly American. I didn't know it originated in England. This is some interesting facts here. I like this. I'm gonna have to find more videos about that for other countries, not just for America. Because everybody's borrowing from everybody's culture. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, the banjo. That's an African instrument. The banjo, which is synonymous with country music, which is the music of America, pretty much. Everybody think, country music is down home music and stuff. Well, in this case, it's bluegrass music mainly. And hey, I live right next to the bluegrass state, right? Kentucky. But the banjo, African music, African instrument. So you see, we borrow from each other. And we sort of assimilate it into our own culture. I'm quite sure, okay, like for instance, a lot of the stuff during our carnival, like, the jabs and even the carnival itself is likened after something from France, a festival from France, with a lot of French influence in there. So, everybody borrow a little piece of everything from everybody, and then they incorporate their own culture in it. Like, we took it and we Africanized it. Okay, I'll give you another example. There's a food called Roti that we eat in the Caribbean, and it's a small, it's a very thin dough, and you put like vegetable and whatever kind of meat or even shrimp or stuff that you like in it, you know what I mean? And that's originally an Indian delicacy, if you want to call it that. But we Africanize it a little bit, you know what I mean? And things. So it happens. Anyway, man, thank you all for watching this with me, all right? And I'll put a video there, in the bottom about differences between Europe and America. Click on that and keep watching. In the meantime, take care of each other, all right? Cool runnings.